So I just filmed my April TBR, and I was gonna go change and everything so that way it looks like, oh, I'm filming these on different days. No, I'm actually too lazy to go and change, so we're just gonna keep on rolling right into my March wrap up, because it's officially done. March is officially, it's over. I mean, I'm not gonna finish a book tonight, so we're gonna roll with my 6 books that I read in March. It was a slower reading month for me, once again, because I was finishing up Goalie and then I was doing all of my self edits before it went off to my editor. So it was a bit of a slower month. However, I loved all of the books that I read. I read a lot of really good ones. So we are going to go ahead and jump right on in. So the first book was actually one that I listened to on audio, but I do have the physical book, so I'm just going to hold that up, but is The Penalty Box by Odette Stone. So this is the 3rd book in the Vancouver Wolves series. It is a hockey romance, and it also is like a marriage of convenience and like slight workplace-ish romance. So our hero, he is a hockey player, and this is important, he does have some ties to the Russian mafia, so just know that. And he's kind of got, not like a bad reputation, but he's gotten some bad press lately, specifically kind of with getting framed for some things that, like, you know, old ties are kind of like throwing at him. So he kind of needs to clean up his image a little bit, or he's going to be suspended from his hockey team. And our heroine, she is struggling. She works at his PR firm. So she's like been around him and stuff, and she finds him very hot, but she stays away because she's like, I cannot even get close to him and like let any sort of feelings get mixed up for him, when I know that it could never be anything more. And she is in some money troubles because she does not have like a great like personal life. Like, she has her brother, I think, is the one who like owed some people some money, so like they're trying to track her down and like make her pay for all of the money that he owes, or like her mom owes or something. So our hero has a lot of money, but needs to kind of clean up his image a little bit. And our heroine does not have money, but she could help him clean up his image. So they end up having an arranged marriage. So that way, like, it looks like he's settling down. You know, he's got the family life, he's got the wife, he's got the house. He eventually has the dog, like that kind of thing. And then she gets money out of it. But obviously, as we know, arranged marriages don't just stay, like, they don't stay no feelings, even though they're both like adamant when they start that like this could never be anything more. And it ends up being their romance. I absolutely ate this up. Once again, just like the previous 2 books in this series, I ate this one up as well. I loved it across the board. Home Game, I think, is still my favorite. That's the 2nd book in this series, but I really, really enjoyed this one. I love the slow burn of their relationship. I love there was like a lot of still like plot into it. Which, like, similarly with Puck Me Secretly, some of it I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. This feels like a soap opera at times, but I love that. Like, it was fun. It kept me listening. And also, I will say, specific shout out to the dog in this book. I actually laughed when I was listening to this. So our hero, when he's traveling a lot, and like our heroine is feeling unsafe because there's like all these issues, whatever, you get into it in the plot, but she's feeling unsafe at the house. So he ends up getting her a guard dog and like a trained German Shepherd, which, don't worry, the dog is completely fine. There is like a little bit of a scary situation, but the dog is completely fine. The dog makes it through. Okay. You know, I'd never not tell you that. But anyways, he like gets jealous of this dog and how much attention his wife, his fake wife, is giving the dog. He gets like really jealous of it. But then he's also like really cute with the dog. It's adorable. I absolutely loved it. Then I read My Darling Arrow by Saffron Kent. This book has been on my TBR for years, and it was so good to read a Saffron Kent book again. It's been a long time. I think maybe like 2 years since I've read a Saffron Kent book, but I love her writing. Listen, she's one of those where I kind of think like Gianna Darling, Saffron Kent. Like, if you gave me a book with no title, no author, no nothing on it, and I just had to like guess who the writer was based off of the writing style, there's certain authors where you would be able to do that. Like, I feel like Gianna Darling's books, you can pick out her writing from a mile away, and I feel the same way about Saffron Kent. Personally, I love her writing style, and this book, I ate it up once again. Listen, our heroine, she's a little unhinged, as they all tend to be in her books, but again, I love it. So this one is a sister's ex-boyfriend, coach athlete, kind of like unrequited love a little bit romance. So our heroine, she has basically been in love with Asher since she first saw him. So she was actually taken in by Asher's mom. Her and her sister both were, after her mother passed away. Their moms were like best friends, and was taken in by them. And immediately when she saw Asher, when she was, I don't know, she was maybe like 11 or 12 or something, and Asher was like 16 or 17, and she immediately was like, oh my gosh, I love him. But he had eyes for her older sister, who's like the same age, and they ended up dating and were dating for many, many years. And she just always kind of kept her love a secret. And she ends up trying to run away and gets in some trouble. So she ends up getting sent, even though she's 18, she ends up getting sent to this like all girls reform school. And when she arrives there, she ends up meeting her new soccer coach, which is Asher. He was a professional soccer player. However, he is no longer on the team, and it's kind of like publicized that he's just like taking a step back, that he's injured, that he's taking a step back from the season, whatever. But then when our heroine finds out that Asher, her name's Salem. I was like, why can't I remember her name? I knew it was something unique. When Salem finds out though, she's like, that can't be the reason that he's here. And then when she finds out that actually her sister and him have broken up as well, she knows that there's more to the story. But she's pretty happy to have Asher around and is ready, to kind of make her move on him, even though she knows that she shouldn't, with him being with her sister for so many years. And yeah, it ends up being their romance. She is completely obsessed with him, and she will do whatever it takes until she gets him. And this is kind of like the sign of being like, I think everyone needs to be just like a little bit more delusional, because if everyone was, hey, you might end up with your childhood crush of many years. I loved it. It's the first book. Well, so I think Bad Boy Blues actually is the like technical first one. I think it's like 0.5, and then this one is 1. I'm really excited to keep going on with the series. I loved it. I'm very interested in a lot of the side characters that we got in it. And yeah, it was just, I love Saffron Kent's writing. Like, I can't say it enough. Her writing style is just one of my favorites. I'm gonna try to slide over a little bit because we're getting a weird shadow here. Next, I reread for, I think, the 3rd or 4th time, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So this is the first book in the Throne of Glass series, and I listened to it on audio because I just got the desperate need to be back in this world with these characters. As we know, literally, I'm obsessed with this series. It is my favorite fantasy series of all time. I've talked about it a lot. And I wanted to be back, but I am listening to the audiobook, so the first one is on Spotify, so that's how I read this one. And Selena, she is a very like renowned assassin who was then caught and sent to the salt mines in Endovir as a slave. And that is where we first meet her, when the crown prince ends up coming and giving her a proposal to get her out of the mines in order to come be his champion, competing to be the king's assassin, like in this competition kind of. And the prince wants her to be his candidate for it, and she agrees. In order to basically get out of the mines, she agrees to go and try out this competition, and that's where this book starts. But even now, just like rereading this back, I'm always just so shocked reading the first book back again, and just where this series go, where these characters go over the course of 8 books. It's just incredible. It is my all-time favorite, and I really enjoyed the audiobooks. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my reread. Then I read a novella. I read Shattered Innocence by Sarah Kate. So this was a newer release from Sarah Kate. I think it just came out. It came out this year at some point. It's a part of the Black Rose auction world where a bunch of authors wrote like retellings in, but you don't have to read any of the others in order to like read this one. But this one is like a Cinderella retelling, and it is FFM, and it is Stepsisters. And so our heroine, one of our heroines, so she is basically going to be auctioned off. She's like the Cinderella by her stepmother after her father passed away. And in order to get like her inheritance and all of the money that her dad left her, she is kind of like sticking around, just kind of like seeing it through. She doesn't really have anywhere else to go. She doesn't have any other plan. But obviously her stepmother sucks, her other stepsister sucks, but her other stepsister, now she's in love with her, and they're having a little bit of an affair, and they want to run away. However, they can't get away. So she's like, here, I'm going to go. The stepsister is like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to make sure that you don't end up at this auction with some like old crusty man who's going to be like horrible to you, whatever. She's like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go to Alaric, who's my old friend, billionaire man, and I'm going to see if he can buy you, so that way, like, we can get out of here. So Alaric and the stepsister, they also have a little bit of a history that you understand, and she basically goes and is, like, begging her to buy her sister at this, stepsister at this auction. And he's like, why should I help you? You know, we're not together anymore, whatever. And yeah, it ends up going from there. It's this, like, auction thing, and then the 3 of them end up all being together. It was a really fun time. It's like 170 pages, so there's like enough depth to it that, you know, like I felt like it had like a lot of substance to it, but it's also very fast. It's a really quick read. Listen, I'm always going to be a sucker for retellings, and I loved the stepsisters relationship. I loved both their relationships with Alaric. I loved all three of them together. It was great. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, if you just want a short, quick, and very hot novella, you got to pick it up. Next up, I read my favorite book of the month. Going to be a favorite book of the year. I don't even care. It's not a romance. And, you know, I don't even have it right now because I already loaned it out to my mom. And that is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This was one of my most highly anticipated releases of 2025. And I am so excited to say that it did not disappoint. It met and exceeded every single one of my expectations. So I have been the biggest like Hunger Games fan for years. I remember reading them back when I was in middle school, like little teenage me. Loved this world, loved these books. I loved the movies. Like I watch them every single November because that's just like the vibes for them. But now I want to rewatch them now because I can't stop thinking about this. The amount of time that I spent on TikTok just watching edits now, it's insane. But this is, in case you didn't know, this is Hamish's book. It's the 50th quarter quell, which again, I feel like I don't need to explain the basic premise of the Hunger Games. I feel like pretty much everyone knows that at this point, but this is Hamish's book. And oh, I loved this. I have wanted Hamish's story for years, and I never really thought that we would ever get it. And I'm so excited that we finally did, because the amount of, it just feels like a missing puzzle piece that like I didn't quite know was missing in this world, and the amount of threads that we get then to where the main trilogy takes place, but then also the amount of threads that are back to Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is President Snow and Lucy Gray Baird's book. Like it's insane. It's insane. Every single time like a new character, not a new character, but a character popped up in this book that we know from the other books, especially Catching Fire specifically. It just gives so much more like depth to that book than anything else, because that's when the 75th Hunger Games, when the people are all reaped from the existing pool of victors, which then we see a lot of these old victors in Hamish's book. And just it gives so much new context to like everything that we know about this world and like other people's games. And oh my god, it was so good. I loved it so much. I cried for like the last 50 pages probably of this book. Like it was even though like I obviously knew, like I knew, you kind of knew how the games ended, like you, because it was like canon, you know, like you knew how Hamish's games went, but just like, oh, you actually didn't know anything, just seeing it all unfold. I would love to like just talk spoilers, but I don't want to spoil anything since this is like a wrap up, but it was just incredible. I absolutely loved it. I have not a single note. And if this is Suzanne Collins' final book in this series, that I'll take it, but I will also take any other books she wants to write, like the commentary, the social and political commentary in these books too. Listen, if you don't get it, you're not paying close enough attention. I absolutely loved it. Okay, and last but not least, I just finished like a few hours ago my audio read of Infamous Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. So this is the 10th book in the Like Us series, and this is the 3rd book following Sully, Banks, and Akara. And Sully is the oldest daughter of Reich and Daisy, who are Hothouse Flower and Long Way Down from the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series. It's the 2nd generation with their bodyguards, and this one obviously is MFM. It's a poly romance with the 3 of them. And this one I did end up reading on audio because it was on sale on Audible for only like $1.50 or something one day. So I was like, yeah, I'll get that and read it that way. So I really loved this one. I can't obviously say that much because it is their 3rd book. So like I can't give that much context to it, because not only is it number 3, but then it's number 10 in a series, but it's just a continuation of their relationship. And Sully being at the Olympics, she is an Olympic swimmer, which I obviously really loved that. I love the Olympics and I love sports romances. So I really liked that inclusion in here. But yeah, it's just kind of their final send off. You see a lot of their like final moments. It was just cute. I liked it. I like the 3 of them. Krista and Becca Ritchie do a really great job of just them feeling like very real people, and it feeling like a very real world that they play around in and create, and especially like with these famous families. And yeah, it was a good time. I'm really excited to be nearing the end of this series and like reading more in it, just because like I've spent so much time in this world and with these families. So it's just kind kind of like checking one off after another, but I really enjoyed them. And it definitely like tugged at my heartstrings. There were some like really dramatic moments, which I've come to expect from them, and I love every single time we get one. Yeah, it was a good time. I love their writing, and I love this world, and I love these like families. So I don't really have anything else to say about it. Anyways, that is all of the books that I read in March. I am not going to finish Kiss the Villain in time. I think I'm not even like, I think I'm maybe like 30% in. So there's no way I'm finishing that tonight in order to get it done, which also, what perfect timing, because this shadow is really starting to like come in. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I don't know what is going to be up on, what days are we looking at next week? I don't know what's going to be up. You'll have something. But anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.